Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we are going to be playing Izzet Prowess, the fastest deck in the modern format. So this is just a very low to the ground aggro style deck where we just put out a creature to, we cast a bunch of cheap spells, and we hit the opponent for a lot all at once. And we're just trying to get that number down from 20 to 0 as quickly as possible. So creatures we're playing here, 4 Monastery Swiftspear, Haste Prowess, 4 Dragon's Rage Channeler, sets up Delirium for us, and it's just a 1-mana 3/3 flyer in a lot of situations. It helps fix our draws a bit. We've got 4 Slickshot Show-Off, Flying Haste. It's got double Prowess, so whenever we cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0, and we can plot it, which is rarely relevant for this deck, but will come up sometimes. And then we've got 4 Cori-Steel Cutter. We've got a lot of ways to even trigger this on turn 2. So we could Cori-Steel Cutter Mishra's Bauble, Cori-Steel Cutter flashback a Lava Dart, Cori-Steel Cutter cast a Mutagenic Growth on one of our creatures we played turn 1. And this is going to be a way to just make multiple creatures throughout the course of the game if we do have a slower game. We have some draw in Preordain and Expressive Iteration. We've got some cheap deal a lot of damage with Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt, Violent Urge, and Mutagenic Growth. Violent Urge works really good with DRC where they're working together to set up Delirium. We've got a lot of types, so we can get land pretty easily with the fetch land. We've got artifacts, we've got a ton of instants, we've got some sorceries, we've got creatures, we've got artifacts. The deck can pretty easily set up Delirium, so most of the time this is just going to be a 1-mana +1/+0 and double strike. Mutagenic Growth can pump them even more. These cards work really well together. The deck has like a very high amount of synergy for just hitting your opponent as quickly as possible. Mana base is nothing fancy. Fetches, shocks, a single surveil land to Fiery Islet. In the sideboard, we are just trying to dunk on decks that are faster than us or who have a ton of interaction for us. So we've got Consign to Memory for things like Storm and Eldrazi. We've got a single Spell Pierce for some sideboard cards people might bring in against us. We've got Murktide Regent for the heavy removal decks, because if they just keep removing every single creature we play, bringing in the Murktides helps a lot with that, because Murktide's also a lot more difficult to remove. We've got Surgical Extractions for Goryo, Unholy Heat for Quantum Riddlers, Meltdowns for Affinity. And yeah, that's the deck. Let's get into some games and see how we do. Alright, and we're in match 1. We're going to keep our 7 here. We only got 1 land, but with DRC and Mishra's Bauble, we have a pretty decent chance at finding another one. Let's see if our luck will hold for us. So if it's anything other than a land, okay, we'll just put that on top. And we'll pass it to the opponent here. And in their upkeep, let's see what they're on. We see a Sacred Foundry, okay. Oh, and we see a Steam Vents. So Steam Vents, Sacred Foundry, Galvanic Discharge. We're probably playing against Jeskai Control. Here, I kind of want to just set up for a Cori-Steel Cutter next turn. Possibly even a double Cori-Steel Cutter. Yeah, because otherwise we just go Monastery Swiftspear, Preordain, and that's kind of boring. Yeah, let's go ahead and start setting up with the Cori-Steel Cutters. Okay, we just see another land from the opponent. Ooh. Like, do I want to go another Cori-Steel Cutter? Or do I just want to run out a couple of Monastery Swiftspears? Let's run out a couple of Monastery Swiftspears. We get wrathed, we get wrathed. We'll just attack all creatures here. Alright, down to 14, down to 13 once they fetch. And grab Meticulous Archive. Again, we know that they still have a Sacred Foundry in hand. Okay, we do see a Wrath for X equals 2 here. Most unfortunate. Okay, well. I'll just go Cori-Steel Cutter Mishra's Bauble. Try to rebuild a little bit here. Oh, they can sign to memory the trigger. Yeah, we'll pass it to them, drawing in their upkeep. Okay, we see Subtlety. Opponent casts Prismatic Ending on our Cori-Steel Cutter. Alright, opponent is living up to their name of controlling us out. Let's try to find something off the Expressive Iteration here. We will put the Slickshot Show-Off in hand, exile the land. Go ahead and play the land, and do we want to save this Preordain? See if we can find even more action for next turn. So we'll put this on bottom, we'll put the Lightning Bolt on top, and we'll just pass it to the opponent here. We do now have the problem of opponent's just going to hard cast Subtlety. So they Subtlety here. We put a Slickshot Show-Off on top. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll put that on top. Oh, but I was supposed to fetch beforehand. Whoopsie. Okay. You know, sometimes we learn things in life. And, you know, that's the great thing about life, is we get to keep on learning. And sometimes we make mistakes because we are trying to keep these videos short. Opponent's finding a ton of lands here. There's a Flooded Strand. And there's a reason we should have plotted. And I figured it would have been easy for them to, like, counterspell if we plotted. There's a Quantum Riddler. And we have 5 damage in hand. We just gotta figure out how to get the other 5 damage through. So they're just cycling to draw some cards here. We're gonna need something pretty good. I don't know if you've heard, Bloodstained Mire, not really what we're looking for. Grab Thundering Falls, see if we can put anything interesting. So this makes 8 damage. Keep it on top, hope that we find more bolts. And then we know we're not getting a creature next turn. But I also don't want to run into more counter spells. Let's just pass it. We just gotta find another Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt, something good off top. Okay, opponent's just gonna hardcast a Quantum Riddler here. That's fine. And then... yeah, let's just hold it all back and have, like, one big explosive turn, probably. So they're getting to hit us for 7 here, so we kind of gotta hope that they don't have Flage. I mean, if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. Yeah, we get beat down to 2. Do they have a Lightning Bolt or Flage? There's the Flage, okay. Yeah, we just got too many of our creatures interacted with. Let's see what we're going to do for the sideboard. Alright, here we're going to cut 2 Violent Urge and 2 Lightning Bolt for 2 Murktide Regent and 2 Unholy Heats. And let's see what we can make happen here. Yeah, we'll keep it. It's a little slow, but we'll run it. Just a little too land heavy. Alright, so we both kept our 7. We're on the play here. Let's just go ahead and get the Swiftspear out here. Let's go ahead and grab the Steam Vents, Monastery Swiftspear. Go ahead and attack in for 1. And then we have the Mutagenic Growth held up in case they try to go for Galvanic Discharge or Lightning Bolt. Which is exactly what they do here, so we can keep our creature alive at least. This exact scenario is pretty much the only reason we keep Mutagenic Growth in. They do get to store some energy though. Advantage to Galvanic Discharge. Okay, we find a DRC here. Let's grab a mountain. Cast DRC, cast Preordain, and now we're just trying to find some more action off top. Speaking of action on top, let's keep that on top. And we're actually pretty happy to keep both of these on top, so... Put on top. Put on top. And we'll go ahead and attack with the Monastery Swiftspear. Again, we're taking a little bit of a slower approach, but I think we'll live. And opponent just warps in a Quantum Riddler. Alright, let's lead off on Expressive Iteration here. Ideally, we find a Mishra's Bauble, put that in the graveyard. Okay, speaking of which, so put one of them into your hand. One on bottom, one in exile. Now we'll go ahead and fetch for a mountain, play another DRC, and play a Bauble. We're sitting in a pretty bad spot if they do have Wrath here. We'll keep the Cori-Steel Cutter on top. So that way, if they do have a board wipe here, we can just Cori-Steel Cutter and Expressive Iteration next turn. And then let's go ahead and crack this to get our 4 types. So they've just got another Quantum Riddler. And we'll attack for 6, get them down to 8. Oh, and they flash in a Solitude. Okay, there goes our Monastery Swiftspear. This makes me feel like they don't have Wrath of the Skies, otherwise I don't think they would have wasted resources doing that. Where do they pitch for it? To Fairy. Okay. Well, it fetches for another basic, goes for Flage. So there goes another one of our DRCs. And they're going to be at 13 now. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. If they find a fetch land next turn, they do just get to flash back the Flage. Let's go Fiery Islet, Cori-Steel Cutter, and let's go ahead and cast the... Ooh, put that in the graveyard. Cast the Slickshot Show-Off. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can get them down to 3 here.
Yeah, this is probably our safest time to go for it. So yeah, let's go ahead and Lava Dart them, sacrificing Mountain. Don't need another land. Not yet anyways. And attack all, and pass it to the opponent. Down to 3. Okay, they warp in Quantum Riddler, so they don't have the land that they need for Flage here. Alright, and we get it there. Let's see if we can get game 3. We have a bit of a greedy 7 that we're keeping here, but we have what's functionally 4 creatures. We've got a Monastery Swiftspear, we've got a Mishra's Bauble. I think I'm not upset about this hand, especially, yep, there we go, we hit second land, so now we can actually hold on to the Mishra's Bauble for the Cori-Steel Cutter. And then, even if they do board wipe us, we've got a Murktide to follow it all up with. So let's play the Monastery Swiftspear. Attack in for 1. Okay, no Galvanic Discharge from the opponent, no Lightning Bolt. They're gonna go ahead and fetch. Oh, and they shock. Okay, now they Galvanic Discharge. Okay, that's fine. Opponent just plays Island and passes it back to us. Hopefully we don't run into a counter spell here. And just in case they have some kind of graveyard removal, we'll hold on to the Arid Mesa for another turn. So let's Steam Vents, go for the Cori-Steel Cutter, go for the Mishra's Bauble, trigger Cori-Steel Cutter. Okay, and they Celestial Purge the Cori-Steel Cutter. We're still going to get the token. And it doesn't have haste here, so what we're going to do is just say, go to the opponent. And then we'll crack the Mishra's Bauble in their upkeep. See what they're getting this turn. Okay, they find Basic Mountain. Always had a lot of basics just in hand this game. It is helping them conserve a good amount of life total. They go for the Quantum Riddler here. And fortunately no Ephemerate. Let's see, a little pause from our opponent here. Okay, we find the Mishra's Bauble here. Let's just play the Arid Mesa. We'll go ahead and just hard cast the Slickshot Show-Off. Cast the Mishra's Bauble. And then we'll go ahead and attack in here. Get in another 5. And then before the opponent's turn, we're going to go ahead and see what they got. They've got a Force of Negation, not the biggest problem for us. Alright, so we send it on to them. We're going to draw in their upkeep. We find Lava Dart, not bad. Opponent plays a Thundering Falls tap, surveils a Meticulous Archive into the graveyard. We're going to follow suit. We're going to surveil ourselves for a Thundering Falls. Lightning Bolt off top is something we're interested in. Put that on top. And then if the opponent doesn't have removal here, we should just be able to go for the win. So let's go Mountain. We can do all of this at instant speed, so let's go ahead and attack. Just in case they flash in Felly or something as a blocker, so let's Lightning Bolt the opponent. That's right, they do have the Lightning Bolt, but this lets us double cast with the Lava Dart now. So let's cast Lava Dart targeting the opponent. So that's why we let off on Lightning Bolt, so that way they could counter that. We keep the Lava Dart to get more Prowess triggers. And then we can go ahead and flash back Lava Dart, sacrificing a mountain. More Prowess triggers. And then we've got them dead on board if they don't have removal. Alright, there we go. We got match 1. Good game, opponent. Alright, and we're back for our next game. We're going to keep our risky 7 here. Just 1 land, but we're on the draw, so we'll have an opportunity to get another one. DRC might be able to help us dig here. We see a Plains from the opponent and Guide of Souls, so we're probably playing against Energy or some Energy variant. So, Monastery Swiftspear. High key, we kind of just want to go ahead and hit this Guide of Souls, make sure they can't gain any life. And we'll pass it back to the opponent. Opponent just plays Flooded Strand, passes it back to us. We do get punished on lands. Just in case it's Ophelia here. No, because if it is Ophelia, we've got Mutagenic Growth. Let's go for Monastery Swiftspear. Go ahead and attack the opponent. And we did get punished for keeping the 1-lander. Hopefully it doesn't get us too bad. And now maybe we'll get to see what colors the opponent's on. It might just be Boros, but it could be something else. Okay, Elegant Parlor means it's probably Boros. I think if it was anything else, we probably would have seen green for some kind of Simic. Alright, opponent goes for Flage here. We do get to save the Monastery Swiftspear though, since we've got Mutagenic in hand. Let's just go ahead and do that. We'll pay the 2 life. And now we will have to worry about the Flage on a later turn. But with only 2 other cards in graveyard. Here we might just have to go for the DRC. We are really behind as far as lands go. Let's go ahead and Mutagenic Growth this. Just to be able to try to surveil. If it's anything but a land, we're putting it in graveyard. Yeah, to the graveyard it goes. And then... yeah, we've got Expressive Iteration to rebuild back up. Let's just go ahead and go for it again. Cori-Steel Cutter in graveyard. Yeah, our next land was pretty deep. Alright, so 7 at the opponent. Got them down to 12. We're at 11 right now. They've got 4 cards. We've got 3, but we are in desperate need of a land here. And we see a second Flage from the opponent. So now they're going to go up to 15. Oh, and do they have a Galvanic Discharge here too? Static Prison? Ocelot Pride. Okay, we're not too worried about the Ocelot Pride since we've got the Lava Dart. Man, we are just not finding that land here. Go ahead and kill the Ocelot Pride. Opponent does just get to bring back Flage next turn. Think we're cooked here. We're going to go ahead and concede this one and go to the sideboard. Alright, for the sideboard, we're going to cut 2 Violent Urges and 2 Preordains to bring in the 4 Unholy Heat. And we'll pass it back to the opponent here. Alright, we're on the play. We're going to mulligan this one. We have no creatures. And it's not the strongest, but we'll go ahead and keep this. The Mishra's Baubles basically just let us cycle. However, we are going to be putting 1 Mishra's Bauble to bottom, because we want to keep our removal if possible. So yeah, let's put the Mishra's Bauble to bottom. Alright, and the opponent mulliganed down to 5, which works a little in our advantage, since we had to mulligan 2. Let's go ahead and shock in the Steam Vents, play the Monastery Swiftspear, Mishra's Bauble, Prowess Trigger, and then we'll bobble the opponent in upkeep. Luckily, any of their early turn plays, we can get around pretty easily here with the Lava Dart and Unholy Heat. Go ahead and Mishra's Bauble them, see what they're gonna draw. Okay, we see an Ocelot Pride. Not too bad since we have the Lava Dart. They lead off Mountain and then pass it to us, Peculiar. Alright, we are just gonna play Scalding Tarn and we'll take it a little slow. We'll just hit for 1 here. I think we're gonna be able to play somewhat of a control game here. And opponent goes for Galvanic Discharge on the Monastery Swiftspear. Yeah, we're missing out on a couple damage here by doing this, but we're just gonna go ahead and fetch, Lightning Bolt the opponent, get a Prowess trigger, because we're gonna need some kind of creature here, and we're gonna Lava Dart the opponent, get another one, and then they'll just get to keep their energy around. Oh, the opponent's missing land drops. That's why they didn't go for the Ocelot Pride. So they just have a mountain. So we'll play Scalding Tarn here. We're going to play around... Well, even if they have another Galvanic Discharge, there's not much we're going to be able to do about it. So let's go ahead and Lightning Bolt the opponent. And it looks like they're going to have another Galvanic Discharge here. And yeah, with them having upwards of 6 energy, there's not much we're going to be able to do about that. So we'll leave it be and pass it to the opponent. And then, depending on what they do during their turn, we'll just Unholy Heat whatever they play. Okay, they find land here. If it's Ocelot Pride, we'll Lava Dart it. If it's anything else, we can Unholy Heat it. We do already have 4 card types in Graveyard, so we do have Delirium, so Unholy Heat's going to deal 6 damage. An opponent fetches for basic. Yeah, there's the Ocelot Pride. Interesting, considering they know about the Lava Dart. So let's do Thundering Falls. We'll keep the Cori-Steel Cutter on top, because here what we can do is we can go for Cori-Steel Cutter. And then we can flashback Lava Dart, targeting the Ocelot Pride. Then we make a token with the Cori-Steel Cutter. Ocelot Pride's gone, and then we'll be able to attack for 2 here. So we've got the opponent down to 7 now. Opponent finds land number 3. So opponent didn't fall that far behind. Down to 6. They probably just grab another plains here, yeah. And opponent casts Celestial Purge, targeting the... thing there. Let's just hold on to the Unholy Heat. Even better, let's Lava Dart the cat. And then 3, 4... We can get them down to 2 this turn, but it's not quite enough. We could have gotten them down to 1 with doing Lava Dart and Unholy Heat that instead. But honestly, I'm not upset here. We're still getting them down to 4. They have very little action. They have 1 card left in hand. They kind of need a Flage to get back into this game. Okay, and we just see another land from them. Speak of the devil, there's Flage. So that's going to destroy our creature. They're going to gain 3 life, go up to 7. So now we're going to need a lot of action off top here. And then next turn they get to go for Flage. So we just find Lava Dart. So 1, 2, 3. We can only deal 3 to them right now. So I think we just have to pass it back, and then we can Unholy Heat the Flage next turn, but they're going to go up to 10. And we've only got 2 lands out because we had to Lava Dart the Ocelot Pride. Opponent fetches for Elegant Parlor and keeps on top, so they've got some kind of good action on top. Yeah, opponent casts the Flage here. They'll go back up to 9. We'll go down to 13. Okay. We get DRC. They've still got 3 cards in graveyard, though, so they'll be able to cast this Flage pretty quick again. Let's go ahead and Unholy Heat the Flage. We'll keep the Preordain on top. Let us dig a little deeper. And then onto the opponent. Oh, opponent found another Flage. Perfect answer to our DRC. And gets them another card in graveyard. So now they're only 1 card away from being able to recast a Flage next turn. Alright, well we know we've got the Preordain, so let's go ahead and cast that. See what we can find on top. Yeah, 2 lands, both of those are going to the bottom. We do find a Slickshot Show-Off. So next turn we can attack for, if we draw another land, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're not quite getting there. And opponent hits, top decks an Elegant Parlor to put another card in graveyard. I think that, besides a fetch land, was about the only thing they could have done to get another Flage this turn. I mean, that's the rough part about Boros Energy whenever you're playing Prowess, is just how many Flages do they have? This is their 1, 2, their 4th Flage. So, without the Flages, we would have won a while ago. Now they're all the way up to 15. Yeah, and here, I don't know what we conceivably do. I think we just have to plot the Slickshot Show-Off. They're going to attack us for 9, so we can't even use the fetch land. And then pretty much anything they get off top is going to be death for us, besides more lands. Opponent attacks with the Flage, targets us. We'll go down to 1, they'll go up to 18. And we've just got 1 Lava Dart in grave, 1 Lava Dart in hand, applauded. Okay, what do I got here? A Johnny. Yeah, and another land, that's it for us. Alright, GG opponent, GG. We'll hop back into the next match.
Alright, we're on the draw here. We kept our 7. We've got pretty decent hand with a lot of creatures in it. Adding to the creatures, we'll go ahead and pay 2 here. I think I want to go for DRC here and start setting up Delirium. I think we're going to get more out of that than we will the Monastery Swiftspear. A little sad to put this into the graveyard, but we're probably digging for a 3rd land here. And we'll just pass it to the opponent. And they fetch for an Undercity Sewers. I'm calling it now. This is Espergorio. Oh, I called wrong. I see an Abhorrent Oculus. Ooh. I was also so enamored by the Abhorrent Oculus that I forgot to Mishra's Bauble them. We see a Satoru. Just go ahead and Bauble them. Okay, Birthing Ritual. Okay, so this is some kind of bug ritual deck. Okay. You know, I'm willing to see what they got. I'm willing to see what they got. I like these ritual decks. Alright, so it's back on us. Yeah, we have no way to set up Delirium this turn. I shouldn't say no way. Expressive Iteration could get us there, but I don't think we're going to get that much value out of the Expressive Iteration, so I think we just go for a Slickshot here.
Just attack for 1. Take things nice and slow. Actually, you know what? I'm not even mad attacking here with the DRC, because if we Mutagenic Growth and remove their Satoru, we're probably sitting a bit better. Yeah, let's see. They're probably not going to sacrifice their Satoru, right? Worst case scenario, we get through an extra damage. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make them scared. I'm curious. It's basically Simic Ritual, but they've got black mana. I see that they've already got the Satoru. I wonder what else they've got to kind of help. Because I was feeling like the deck was missing some removal, and maybe the... Oh, okay, Shardless Agent. Reveals another Satoru. That's a little unfortunate for them, considering it's a legendary. So one of them is just going to go away. Do they see each other? They do, so they're going to get to draw a couple cards here. Okay, that's interesting at least. Okay, yeah. As the opponent, I take that. I eat it. Now, I'm just trying to figure out if we can win next turn. So we find land. Let's go ahead and Expressive Iteration. Oh, Violent Urge on top is good if we can get Delirium. Okay, so we'll put this to hand. And yeah, we'll put this to exile, so this goes on bottom, this goes exile. Okay, so we still need like a land or something in the graveyard. Go ahead and mountain. I'm going to assume that they do not have white mana, so let's just go ahead and Mutagenic Growth on the Slickshot. And please give us a land. Yes, into the graveyard you go. We now have Delirium. We're going to get to attack for a bajillion here, assuming that they don't have anything too crazy for us. When did I tap the mountain and why? Let's just go ahead and do this on the Slickshot. Pray that they don't have like a snapback or some free spell. Okay, good. We got game 1. Let's see what we've got for the sideboard. Alright, so we don't know a ton about the opponent's deck yet. But I'm bringing in 3 Unholy Heat, as it's really our only way to deal with if they do slam in a Poor Inoculus. And just kind of trimming a little here and there, so cutting a Preordain, a Lightning Bolt, and a Violent Urge. The Lava Darts might be good if they are on like Coiling Oracle, Ice Fang Quaddle, things like that as well. So let's cut and get back into the games. Yeah, and this is a fine hand. We'll keep our 7 here. Opponent is mulliganing though. Alright, opponent kept 6. Yeah, something tells me they don't have a lot of 1-drops. Ooh, Cori-Steel Cutter, hello. Let's slam some damage. And by some damage, I mean a single point of damage. Opponent fetches and grabs just a tapped Overgrown Tomb. No Surveil land. Interesting. And an Odawara. There's the Satoru. And we have to debate kind of what route we want to go here. We could go DRC plus Lightning Bolt on Satoru attack. We could go Cori-Steel Cutter, save it for next turn. Honestly, the Cori-Steel Cutter, I think we're going to pop it off next turn anyways. Let's just go ahead and get the DRC down. Lightning Bolt the Satoru attack in. So we really don't want it blocking what we're trying to do. We don't have enough for Delirium yet to actually get the Satoru, because it does have 3 toughness. Opponent subtleties. Yeah, so they get to draw off Satoru. Okay, I kind of see what's going on here. Interesting. And maybe in response to this, knowing that I'm not going to anyways, maybe I should have just, yeah, we'll keep it on top. We should have Lightning Bolted the Satoru beforehand. But, you know, what you gonna do? We're getting through almost as much damage this way. Because if we Lightning Bolt face, they go down 3. If we kill Satoru, we get to attack for 2. So we're dealing 1 less damage, but we're getting a creature out of the way for the Monastery Swiftspear on future turns. Next turn's going to be a little slower. What did they exile? Okay, a Harbinger of the Seas. Harbinger of the Seas? Why would they even bother against us? Alright, so let's just go Cori-Steel Cutter. Opponent's down to 2 cards in hand. We'll go Mountain DRC, trigger the Cori-Steel Cutter. And we'll get to attack for 4 more here. And then next turn we get to attack for what should hopefully be a ton of damage. But it depends on what they do here with the Birthing Ritual. Oh, they do nothing with the Birthing Ritual. They just draw and pass. Alright, let's lead off Bauble. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Finger on the trigger. Here we are just trying to rush towards setting up Delirium. So we'll just chuck pretty much everything into the graveyard that we can. Lava Dart the opponent here. Hope that they don't have Force of Negation. Yeah, Violent Urge. Okay, so we really just have land so far. Yes. Okay, there's Lava Dart. Let's go ahead and flashback Lava Dart. Sacrifice Mountain. Come on, we need a sorcery or a creature on top for Delirium. There's a creature. And we'll go ahead and Bauble the opponent. It's another Birthing Ritual. And then now we get to attack for a ton here. And yeah, we win the match. Okay. Let's get into the next one. Good game, opponent. Alright, we're on the play for this game. We're going to keep our 7 here. And then we'll just lead on DRC, and then we can go for Monastery Swiftspear double Bauble next turn. Oh, and we're playing against Broodscale combo. Oh, okay, we're just gonna have a ton here. Alright, let's cast the Swiftspear. Cast Mishra's Bauble. And we're pretty much going to be putting everything that we surveil into the graveyard. That there does get us our 4 types already. Let's actually keep that one on top. Oh, but we needed to put land in the graveyard here. Too bad, so sad. Let's Thundering Falls. Yeah, we don't need another land. We'll go ahead and Mishra's Bauble. We see Haywire Might, not really a problem for us. We'll attack for 7 here. And then we already know what the opponent's drawing. And we'll go ahead and draw a bit more here. Oh, whoops. I want to get them after their draw step. Okay. Urza Saga. What you got? And an Ancient Stirring next turn. While it plays the Haywire Might, they can chump block with it and gain a couple life. And then they're probably just keeping the green mana up. Okay, we do find a Violent Urge. We have Slickshot Show-Off here. Let's... And they're not going to have a ton of removal for us here. Yeah, let's just get in damage while we can. So, fetch here, we'll grab a mountain. Go ahead and cast the Slickshot Show-Off. And I'm just going to check real quick. So we're getting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we'll go ahead and clear out the Haywire Mite since we can't kill here. Oh, opponent didn't block. Alright, let's pump here. And the Violent Urge is going to be pretty much the same thing no matter what. Put another land into the grave, save there. And then I think this is lethal since they didn't block. Yeah. Alright, let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Alright, here we're just going to trim a little around the board. Violent Urge, Preordain, and Cori-Steel Cutter coming out, bringing in 1 Meltdown and 2 Unholy Heat. And we're going to be on the draw for game 2. We've only got 1 land, it's tapped. Do have a decent amount of removal, but I think without second land, we're just going to mulligan. I like this one a little bit better. We'll keep this and put Steam Vents to bottom. And we'll keep. And then we've got a removal for whatever their turn 1 or 2 play is. And then turn 2 we can just go for Slickshot Show-Off plus Mutagenic Growth. And then the turn after that go for Expressive Iteration. See what we find on top. And if the opponent doesn't play a creature, we just surveil land. My opponent plays an Urza Saga and goes for a Dampening Sphere. Yeah, not much we can do about that. And this is mostly keeping us off of double spelling some, so it's not the end of the world. We will keep this DRC, however. Alright, let's... So we could go for the DRC instead, since the Slickshot Show-Off will rarely be larger than the DRC. But we really don't have a way to set up types that well in the graveyard. Yeah, let's just get in damage where we can, when we can. We'll play the Slickshot Show-Off, attack for 1. And then this does let us go Dragon's Rage Channeler plus Mutagenic Growth next turn. And then we can even hold up an Unholy Heat for the opponent's turn. Oh, and we see an Eldrazi Temple, 3 mana, 4. Okay, the fact that the opponent did that makes me think that they either have Kozilek's command or that they're just going to hold off and make Construct during their end step. So let's play DRC here. And then next spell we cast is going to cost 1 more. Let's just go ahead and Mishra's Bauble. And then again, we can Unholy Heat during their turn. We will put that into the graveyard. One of our main goals right now is just trying to set up Delirium. Oh, opponent has something here. They go for Dismember on the Slickshot Show-Off. Mutagenic Growth's not going to be able to save it anyways, so we're just going to let that be what it is. And then, yeah, we'll pass it to the opponent, and then we'll Mishra's Bauble in their upkeep. Let's see what they're drawing for turn. A Blade of the Blood Chief, okay. They do make a construct here. We actually don't care that much about the construct. Oh, but we do care a lot about that Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, now that they've got out a couple more artifacts, we've got to be able to set up our graveyard to be able to even Unholy Heat the construct token. I don't know, I think the opponent might just have us dead to rights here. We can get back in the air with Slickshot Show-Off. And then we'll just Mutagenic Growth on Slickshot, or we could... Let's just run out the... No, we can't even run out the Monastery Swiftspear here. Yeah, let's just attack with Slickshot Show-Off and Mutagenic Growth it. They don't have any mana up right now anyway, so we'll just go for it. We're having to pay 3 to deal an extra 4. More lands. Oh, and I realized doing that before attacks does set them up to where they do just get to kill our DRC. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's on me. Yeah, and then they block the DRC. They take 5. We might still be able to aggro them out. And if we can set up our graveyard enough, we can just go for Unholy Heat on the construct token. Okay, now we're losing our Slickshot Show-Off. So they exile the Slickshot Show-Off, scry 1 to top, 1 to bottom, draw a card, and then they're going to be able to attack for 4 here. Okay, here we'll just run out double Monastery Swiftspear since we're not going to be able to cast the Unholy Heat. Yeah, they take the DRC. We're still off Delirium. And then attack with all. So opponent's at 7. After the opponent attacks this turn, we're going to be down to 6. Okay, they fetched down to 6. Oh. Yeah, they have the combo here. So they're going to have an infinitely large Basking Broodscale. We're not dead yet unless they have Walking Ballista or Glaring Fleshraker in hand. Let's see if they have either one of those. Okay, opponent Kozilek's command for X equals 13. We're just confirming that they did not sideboard out the combo. Oh, actually what they can do here, since they Kozilek's command for enough, they can move the Blade of the Blood Chief over the construct and then just sacrifice the rest of the tokens. They've got it here. I'm going to assume that they see it and will concede there, and then see if we can get them in game 3. Here, I think I want to bring in even more interaction just to keep them from being able to go for the combo. So we're bringing in another Meltdown, 2 Unholy Heats, and since they were able to remove a good number of our creatures, we're just going to bring in 1 Murktide. Oh, we actually need to cut 1 more card. Let me check real quick. We'll cut 1 more Cori-Steel Cutter here. They have a good amount of artifact removal, plus if they have Damping Sphere again, it's going to be pretty hard for us to even make creatures with the Cori-Steel Cutter anyways. So we'll take the play. We'll keep our 7. And then here, I'm going to lead off on Dragon's Rage Chandler, just to see if we can set up a quick Delirium to get more damage in next turn. Alright, opponent just goes Forest Vexing Bauble. And then we draw a Mountain. Let's thin our deck out on mountains a bit more. The less we see, the better. We'll run out Monastery Swiftspear, and we're not going to be able to get Delirium this turn. And then we'll put the DRC into the graveyard to get us close to Delirium. And then we'll attack the opponent for 3 here. And then just ship it back to him. Opponent taps 3, I imagine Glaring Fleshraker? No, Complex command for X equals 1. So there goes our Monastery. And the Mutagenic Growth is just dead card in hand because of the Vexing Bauble. So let's Scalding Tarn. Let's go ahead and Surveil. We're actually going to keep this... Oh man, it's such a good draw for next turn. But we do set up Delirium. Let's keep it on top. And it's not the greatest spot for us to be in. Maybe we should have done it the other way around, but... I'm committing. And again, no reason to Mutagenic Growth, because it's just going to get countered by the Vexing Bauble. We will have Delirium next turn. We get to look at 3 more cards with the Expressive Iteration. Never mind, they have Bajuka Bog. Oh, interesting that they have Bajuka Bog. Alright, so here we're just going to go for the Expressive Iteration. And we're pretty much starting over from Route 1 to try to set up the Delirium here. So we'll put this in the graveyard. We could cast the Mutagenic Growth. Let's go... So we'll put the Expressive Iteration in hand. We'll want to cast the Monastery Swiftspear this turn, so let's put the Bloodstained Mire on bottom, keep the Monastery. We'll go ahead and play land, cast Monastery Swiftspear. We'll cast Mutagenic Growth, even though it's going to get countered. This lets us Surveil, and if we're lucky, we'll hit a land or something else that gives us Delirium. Creature's not it, but we do already have 2 in the graveyard. I think I'm okay with keeping this on top for now. So we're just going to attack with the Swiftspear here and ship it back to the opponent. Oh, and opponent has Blade of the Bloodchief here. Unless they have another land. Okay, they do have another land. So now they're going to be able to equip and go for the combo. And now we just have to see whether they have it in hand or not. If they don't have Walking Ballista, K-Command, or Glaring Fleshraker in hand, they can attack for infinite here, but we can just chump it with the DRC. And then, if they do have it, they have it. So, let's see. Oh, well, there's a Soul Guide Lantern, which they can sack to draw, so maybe they're having to try to find the other piece here. It does make it more difficult for us to get Delirium, though, and it makes our Murktide Regent a little worse. Okay, they also have a Dismember. Oh, so yeah, they just get to attack for infinite here. Yeah, that's game. Good game, opponent. Alright, we're on our next match. We're on the draw. We're going to keep here. We do need another land eventually, but we've got double Mishra's Bauble. We're on the draw. We get to look at like 4 more cards to see if we can find our second land. See an Elegant Parlor from the opponent. Okay, there's our second land anyways. Yeah, let's just lead off Mountain, and we'll actually save these Baubles for next turn to deal a lot more damage with the Slickshot Show-Off. So attack here, pass it back to the opponent. Okay, we see a Mountain. And a Ruby Medallion, okay. So we're against Storm here. Okay, so let's just go for the absolute maximum amount of damage that we can, and just hope that they don't have it. But cast here. Bauble. Bauble. No reason not to. We'll Mutagenic Growth.
We get to attack for 13. We get them down to 5 turn 2. But because we're on the draw, we just might not get there. Okay, we see a Bloodstained Mire off top. So they're going to get their 3rd land drop. It's just a matter of, do they have it or not? Okay, Reckless Impulse. Exile Manamorphose, Scalding Tarn. The Scalding Tarn's not going to matter. Pyretic Ritual. Manamorphose. They've got a lot of mana. There's another Impulse. There's an Artist Talent. Another Ritual. I assume they didn't play the Artist Talent first. Oh, and a Past in Flames. Oh my god. I don't think I ever play against Ruby Storm where if you don't interact with them, they don't just win turn 3. Alright, I'll show y'all what they do. They'll, I imagine, get there. Okay, correction. I'm not going to make y'all sit through this. I'll sit through this and report back. And yeah, here we are. I'm pretty sure just dead. So they've got Storm Count 12, but they leveled up the Artist Talent all the way, so the Grape Shots are dealing extra damage. Let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Alright, so here we kind of have to just become a control player, so we're bringing in 1 Spell Pierce, 4 Unholy Heat, and 4 Consign to Memory. Cutting 4 Preordain, 3 Expressive Iteration, a Violent Urge, and a Lava Dart. Let's get into the next game. Okay, it's a little suspect here, but I think I'm going to keep the 7. So I do think we get to set up for Unholy Heat. If they have a Ruby instead, then this hand's pretty bad. But all in all, I mean, without a fetch land, it's going to be a little harder to set up our Delirium, but with 2 DRCs, hopefully it'll be a little bit easier. So we'll just lead off DRC here, and then pass it to the opponent. Yeah, we just see Elegant Parlor. And then we don't have to get them next turn. They shouldn't be able to pop off next turn. So let's go DRC. Just go ahead and cast a Lava Dart. Get some surveilling going. Put in a graveyard. Put in a graveyard. That's going to be in graveyard, and we're just attacking for 1 here. Alright, let's see which 2-mana one they have. I guess worst case scenario, we can go Lava Dart plus Unholy Heat if they do cast Ral. Okay, and they go for Artist Talent. So we might have another turn here. Let's Lava Dart first. Into the grave, and then that's going to give us our Delirium. That doesn't matter, we have the Arid Mesa. So yeah, we're swinging for 6 here. Next turn we swing for another 6. And then we have this up. Alright, let's see what they've got during their turn. Okay, there's the Ruby Medallion. Let's see if they just completely pop off this turn. They're going to get a lot of selection with the Artist Talent. I'll report back to y'all. We'll see what they have. Okay, here they have the Ral with only 1 mana up. So they're going to try to Grape Shot. Oh, and they're just Grape Shotting creature. Let's shoot the Ral here.
They Mind Collapse. If it's your turn, you may sacrifice a mountain rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay. I wasn't expecting random free spell from them. Do they win the flip? They won the flip! No! You're kidding me. Random ass is the only card left in their hand, and they Mind Collapsed in response. Oh my goodness. They don't have enough to exile the top 8, but oh goodness. Our board just got cleared here. Yeah, into the graveyard with that. We're gonna need to find another creature off top now. Nothing there. They wouldn't have even flipped with the original Ral. Yeah, now they get to point 3 damage at us, 3 damage at the DRC. Or sorry, 2 damage at us, 3 at the DRC. Or they might point it all at the DRC. They point it all at the DRC, just in case we have Mutagenic, I guess. Alright, well, big turn. The opponent has basically nothing until a couple turns from now when they can ultimate Ral. Because they're out of cards in hand, they just have 2 lands in exile. That is a Slickshot Show-Off, we'll keep that. Is Slickshot Show-Off lethal? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not lethal. Not on its own anyways, so just go ahead and cast it. Let's draw a card off the Fiery Islet. Okay, there's a Cori-Steel Cutter for a later turn. We can... So they'll have to choose next turn whether they want to kill the Rowler or kill the Slickshot or not. But they've got nothing else going for them. They've got 2 lands in exile, so they can play one of the lands next turn. They're going to need quite the top decks. Or we could just attack the Ral, get them further away from being able to ultimate Ral, and then eventually hope that the Cori-Steel Cutter gets us there. Nah, let's just attack the opponent. Do what our deck's supposed to. And then it's going to be their choice whether they want to kill the Slickshot Show-Off or try to actually go for ultimating Ral next turn. Again, opponent basically has no action except for whatever they draw off top. They had to sacrifice a lot to deal with our DRCs. Okay, they choose to deal the 2 damage, so we've got some time. And they just play the land onto us. We've got the Cori-Steel Cutter, plus a Bauble, nice. So even if they kill the token here next turn, we just get to make another token next turn. Yes, please. Let's just go ahead and Bauble them. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And again, we're just going to attack the opponent every turn until we get there. Or actually, can we get there this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can't get there this turn, so let's not sacrifice all our lands trying to get there. And onto the opponent. Opponent just fetches for Elegant Parlor. We get a Monastery Swiftspear, nice. And now I think we should have lethal next turn. Opponent plays another land. Fetches. Oh, they're making their spells cost less. No way they get there this turn, right? They top deck the Past in Flames. Oh, no. Oh, it's not guaranteed that they get there, but goodness, are we going to have a hard time here. Oh, man. Alright, well, I guess I'll get back to y'all at the end of whatever they're about to do. Alright, we're back. A couple things actually happened. They, ended up not getting to combo off at the end, but they did destroy our Cori-Steel Cutter and our creature. Again, we had the Monastery Swiftspear, and then we just flashed back both of the Lava Darts, and the opponent conceded it there because the Lava Dart would have got him down to 2, and then we attacked for 3, which would have been lethal. So let's come back for game 3. Okay, this is the kind of hand I want to see. So we have Unholy Heat and Consign to Memory to try to hit whether they get Rel or Ruby turn 2. And then we get to follow up on our turn 2 with Cori-Steel Cutter plus Mishra's Bauble to go ahead and start hitting in. The issue is with the Unholy Heat that depending on what they've got going, then we might not have enough damage for Ral. But all we can do is lie in wait. And if it is Ral, then we just dump all our resources into trying to get Delirium and Unholy Heating Ral, and hope that they've only got 1 mana cost reducer. Okay, opponent just has Sacred Foundry. We're just going to play Arid Mesa and pass. And let's see which they have. Oh, a Reckless Impulse, okay. So they get Desperate Ritual plus Artist Talent, okay. So we're just going to grab a Thundering Falls here. We'll actually put that into the graveyard to, again, try to set up as much of our Delirium as we can. And now we do actually have to decide a little bit whether we want to go Cori-Steel Cutter. Because I feel like next turn, they're going to Desperate Ritual, play Artist Talent. So let me think. They're going to have 1, 2, 3. They cast this, they go up to 4. They cast the Artist Talent and maybe some other stuff. Do we just try to hold back here? Because they're not going to have a mana reducer next turn. We need to start enacting our game plan at some point. I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and start enacting our game plan. I'm going to say that they don't have the mana reducer right now. If they do, they do. If they don't, we're just giving them more time to find it if we don't start enacting our game plan. Go ahead and Bauble then, doesn't matter. We see an Untimely Malfunction, so that deals with the Cori-Steel Cutter here. But we have another one in hand. So we'll just attack, ship it back to the opponent, and hope that they just don't have anything here. Or anything meaningful to clarify. Okay, they just Desperate Ritual and Artist Talent, so we made the right call. So here we can go ahead and cast another Cori-Steel Cutter. We get to cast another Mishra's Bauble. And then my question here is, can we just go for the kill? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we do this before Delirium setup, just target one of our own creatures. That's 13, 14, 15. So just making sure we can't get there. Counting through one more time. Yeah, we could attack for 15 here, which is not lethal. So we're just going to attack in with the crew. And here I actually feel fine just going for a Mutagenic Growth on any of them. Just to get in as much damage as possible while we have all of our creatures, because who knows, maybe they'll try to board wipe us next turn or something. And then we're just not going to be able to get in as much damage. We've got them down to 5 though. Let's see what they've got. Just an Arid Mesa. And yeah, we get to hold up Unholy Heat or Consign to Memory. Do we have Delirium? We do not have Delirium. Just something to note. Okay, here's the Ral. Again, without Delirium, this isn't killing it. We don't have anything else to do any extra damage to it, so what happens is just going to have to happen. Actually, if they just lose enough coin flips here, We might could just get him on that. Okay. Okay, they exile a couple more exile effects. Do they have a ritual in hand? No, they have a mind collapse though. They're trying to flip the Ral here. Okay, they take another damage. Okay, hold on. Is the Ral going to get them for us? Oh, okay, hold on. But what we can do now... So they actually don't have enough to exile and kill here. Okay, I think we just let everything go. Okay, we get it there. Good games, opponent. All right, everybody, and we are back with the wrap-up. 3-2 for the day. We went positive. I'll take it. One thing to note is the only decks we really lost against or even had a ton of trouble with were decks with Flage. Flage is a big problem for the deck. It removes our creatures while gaining them life. And then it just puts on this clock where if they cast it turn 3 and they've got enough to cast it turn 4, especially with haste, then they're just going to be gaining a ton of life against us, and we run out of gas pretty quickly. So if we don't kill them quick and they're able to restabilize, then this deck has a difficult way of getting back into the game. Very limited removal for Flage as well. Like, we could bring in Surgical Extraction, but in most of those matchups, it's only good if they Flage, and you already feel like you're far enough behind if they just hardcast a Flage. Same with Unholy Heat. Like, if they've already cast Flage twice, then we're probably not winning it anyway, so why bring it in? So whenever we're playing the Flage matchups, we just kind of have to hope that they don't have Flage. But all in all, very quick deck. The deck's somewhat cheap to build in paper. It's like 250 ticks or so online. Really, the only expensive parts are like Cori-Steel Cutters are a little bit. You do want to play a good number of fetches for setting up Delirium. The Delirium is the really important part of this deck for the Violent Urges, the DRC, the Unholy Heats. Like, you have to be able to set up Delirium. But all in all, great deck. I will not complain about its performance. It performs exactly as it's supposed to. If we see more combo in the meta, Izzet Prowess is always going to come up because it can normally kill these decks before they get to combo off, do what they want to. And it's a little less good in the mid-range matchups or in a more mid-range heavy meta, because they're just going to be able to kill our creatures and put us far enough behind. But that's it for the wrap-up. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment what deck you want to see me play next, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.